When a woman realizes you've lost interest, it triggers a significant shift in her behavior. Women are highly attuned to attention and energy, especially from a man they've been involved with or someone who has shown genuine interest. This shift isn't just about emotional attachment. It's about the power dynamic in the relationship. When you suddenly pull back, it disrupts her perception of control and forces her to question her position in your life. This reaction is deeply rooted in psychology and evolutionary biology. Losing interest, whether intentional or natural, flips the dynamic entirely. She goes from feeling desired and comfortable to uncertain and vulnerable. Women often seek validation, consciously or subconsciously, from men who once pursued them. When that validation disappears, it sparks confusion, self-doubt, and even competitive instincts. This is why you may notice a woman suddenly reaching out more, trying to reconnect, or even appearing in places she knows you'll be. It's not just about missing your attention, it's about reclaiming the sense of control she felt when you were invested. Understanding this reaction puts you in a position of strength. When you master the art of holding back, you're not just regaining control of the dynamic, you're demonstrating high value. Men who act from a place of abundance rather than neediness project power. This isn't about playing games. It's about recognizing your worth and positioning yourself as someone who isn't easily swayed. Women instinctively respect and are drawn to this energy. Welcome to the Stoic Citadel. Let's break down the typical reactions a woman may have when she senses you've lost interest, and how to navigate this dynamic effectively. But before we begin, please like and subscribe to this channel, and tell us where you are watching us from in the comment section below. Mastering this will not only elevate your dating life, but also make you more confident in all your relationships. 1. She becomes more attentive. One of the first things you'll notice is that she suddenly becomes more attentive. Women are wired to pick up on subtle shifts in energy, and the moment she senses you pulling away, it creates a void she feels compelled to fill. This shift triggers her competitive instinct, especially if she believes other women might now be catching your eye. She'll start paying closer attention to your actions, words, and overall behavior, even things she previously overlooked. This attentiveness often manifests as her initiating conversations more frequently, asking about your day, or trying to insert herself into your life in ways she hadn't before. You might receive unexpected compliments, hear her laugh at jokes she previously ignored, or see her actively engaging with your social media posts. These changes aren't accidental. They're her way of re-establishing a connection and getting your attention back on her. From your perspective, this is where you need to remain steady. A man who reacts too quickly to this new attention risks falling back into her frame. It's tempting to reciprocate her newfound enthusiasm, but doing so too eagerly can undo the power shift you've just created. Instead, maintain your focus on your priorities and let her come to you. Respond with confidence, but avoid over-investing. She may also show sudden interest in things you care about. She might ask about your hobbies, suggest plans she knows you'll enjoy, or even bring up topics you've mentioned in the past. This is her way of signaling that she's paying attention and values your interests. Acknowledge her efforts without losing sight of your own goals. It's also worth noting that her attentiveness might be paired with subtle signs of nervousness. She may appear more eager to please, or her messages might carry a tone of insecurity, such as asking if you're upset or if something has changed. These are cues that she's feeling unsettled by your withdrawal and is trying to understand where she stands with you. While this can stroke your ego, it's crucial to remain composed. Overplaying your hand by acting dismissive or arrogant can backfire, turning her attentiveness into resentment. Instead, keep your interactions measured and purposeful. Respond in a way that shows you're in control, but also convey that your attention isn't easily won. A high-value man doesn't rush to reassure someone who suddenly realized they might lose him. By staying calm and grounded, you reinforce the idea that her increased attention is a response to your strength, not something you need to chase or validate. 2. She tests your resolve. Once a woman notices you've lost interest, her next move is often to test your resolve. Women are naturally drawn to men who are steady and confident, but when you pull back, she will instinctively test whether your withdrawal is genuine or just a temporary act. These tests serve as her way of gauging your emotional strength, self-control, and commitment to the new dynamic you've created. How you respond will determine whether she respects you or dismisses you as someone easily manipulated. One of the most common tests is her acting cold or distant to see if you'll chase her. If she senses you've pulled back, she may mirror your behavior in an attempt to regain the upper hand. This is a calculated move designed to provoke a reaction. Many men fall into this trap, rushing to reassure her or doubling down on their efforts to reconnect. Doing so immediately shifts the power back into her hands and undoes the impact of your initial withdrawal. Instead, you need to remain composed and unshaken. If she acts distant, match her energy or maintain a calm indifference. Your lack of reaction sends a clear message. You're not playing games, and your self-worth isn't tied to her validation. This response will force her to reconsider her strategy and, more often than not, prompt her to drop the cold act and pursue you more openly. Another test you might encounter is her trying to provoke jealousy. She could casually mention other men, post photos designed to get your attention, or subtly allude to her options. This is a tactic meant to spark insecurity in you, pushing you to react emotionally and reassert your interest in her. Falling for this bait gives her the control she's seeking, but staying calm and unfazed reinforces your value. A man who doesn't react to such provocations demonstrates confidence and emotional maturity, qualities women find irresistibly attractive. She might also test your boundaries by becoming more demanding or critical. This could be as simple as her picking fights over trivial matters or pushing you to explain your behavior. The goal is to destabilize your resolve and pull you back into her frame of control. Avoid engaging in unnecessary arguments or over-explaining yourself. Instead, keep your responses clear and concise, showing her that you won't be drawn into emotional chaos. Understanding the psychology behind these tests is critical. Women respect men who hold firm under pressure and don't buckle at the first sign of resistance. Each test is an opportunity for you to reinforce your value and demonstrate your independence. The more consistent you are in handling these moments with confidence and self-control, the more she will view you as a man worth pursuing. By standing your ground during these tests, you maintain the upper hand in the dynamic. This not only increases her respect for you, but also strengthens your position as a man who operates on his own terms. 3. She becomes emotionally unpredictable. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, she may react with emotional unpredictability. One moment, she might be affectionate and engaging, trying to pull you back in. The next, she could be distant, cold, or even argumentative. This inconsistency is her way of testing your emotional stability and gauging whether she still has control over your attention. Her emotions may shift suddenly, from being sweet and accommodating to acting indifferent or even resentful. She might bring up past memories to evoke nostalgia, then withdraw just as quickly, leaving you wondering where you stand. This erratic behavior is meant to create uncertainty in your mind, making you second-guess your decision to pull away. Another common reaction is playing hot and cold. She may send you warm messages one day and ignore you the next. This is a psychological tactic designed to keep you on edge, subtly encouraging you to chase her just to regain clarity. The unpredictability isn't accidental. It's a subconscious attempt to reassert control over the situation. In some cases, she might even pick fights or create drama. This isn't necessarily because she's genuinely upset, but because negative attention is still attention. By provoking a reaction, She reassures herself that she still has emotional influence over you. To handle this, you must remain composed. A man who stays unshaken by her emotional fluctuations sends a powerful message. His value doesn't depend on her approval or attention. Ultimately, emotional unpredictability is her way of processing the discomfort of your withdrawal and trying to regain the upper hand. By staying calm, grounded, and emotionally disciplined, you show her that her tactics don't affect you. This reinforces your value and keeps you in control of the dynamic, ensuring that she has to work to earn your attention again. For she tries to reignite your interest. Once a woman realizes you've lost interest, she'll often shift gears and attempt to reignite your desire. This behavior stems from a need to reclaim the attention and validation she feels slipping away. When she senses that your focus has shifted elsewhere, her instinct is to re-establish her influence over you by becoming more appealing, desirable, and engaging. This phase is critical because it's where she puts effort into proving her worth in your eyes, a stark contrast to when she may have taken your interest for granted. One of the first tactics she may employ is enhancing her physical appearance. Women know how visual men are, and when she senses you've checked out, she'll work to make herself more attractive in your eyes. This could mean dressing more provocatively, experimenting with her hair or makeup, or showcasing her best features in ways that are hard to miss. Pay attention to how she presents herself around you. If she's suddenly putting in more effort than before, it's a sign she's trying to pull your attention back. Beyond her appearance, she may also shift her demeanor. She might become more agreeable, playful, or flirtatious, highlighting the qualities she knows you found attractive in the first place. You may notice her laughing more at your jokes, initiating light-hearted banter, or even reminiscing about good times you've shared. This is her way of reigniting the spark and reminding you of the connection you once had. While it may feel flattering, remember to maintain your composure. A high-value man doesn't instantly fold at the first sign of renewed interest. He evaluates whether her effort is genuine or simply a reaction to losing control. Another method she might use is creating opportunities for you to notice her. She could go out of her way to cross paths with you, be more active on social media, or subtly place herself in environments where she knows you'll be. This behavior isn't random, it's deliberate. She wants to remind you of her presence and show you what you're missing. While these gestures might seem coincidental, they're carefully calculated moves designed to draw your attention back toward her. Additionally, she might shift her behavior to align more closely with your preferences or interests. If you've mentioned liking a specific activity, hobby, or type of person, she may suddenly embody those qualities. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It shows she's willing to put in effort, but it's also a test of your resolve. Don't immediately reward her behavior. Instead, observe whether these changes are consistent over time or simply a short-term strategy to regain your interest. The most important thing you can do during this phase is remain steady. Don't jump back into old patterns of chasing or over-investing in her efforts. Let her work to rebuild the connection on your terms. A high-value man recognizes that her renewed interest is a response to his self-respect and independence. By maintaining your frame, you ensure that any rekindled connection is based on mutual value, not her temporary need to reclaim control. 5. She brings up jealousy triggers. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, she may attempt to trigger jealousy as a way to regain your attention. This is a common tactic designed to test your emotional investment and provoke a reaction. If she can make you feel like you're losing her to someone else, she believes it will reignite your competitive drive and pull you back in. One of the ways she does this is by mentioning other men, either directly or subtly. She might casually bring up a guy who's been showing her interest, start posting pictures with male friends, or talk about how much fun she's been having without you. The goal is simple: to make you feel a sense of urgency and push you into chasing her again. Another method is making herself seem highly desirable to others. You may notice her dressing more attractively, becoming more social, or engaging in behaviors that signal she's moving on. If she's suddenly getting more attention online, flirting openly, or making sure you see her in situations where she appears wanted, it's likely a calculated move to spark jealousy. However, the most powerful response you can have is to remain unaffected. When a high-value man sees these tactics, he doesn't take the bait. He understands that true confidence isn't shaken by external competition. Instead of reacting emotionally, he continues living his life, focused on his goals and self-improvement. The moment she realizes her jealousy tactics aren't working, she'll either double down on her efforts or recognize that she needs to genuinely win back your interest through meaningful connection. By staying grounded, you force her to reconsider her approach. If she truly values you, she'll shift from manipulation to authenticity. 6. She starts reminiscing about the past. Another clear sign that a woman realizes you've lost interest is when she begins bringing up past memories and moments you shared. This is her attempt to tap into nostalgia and reignite the emotional bond that once existed between you. She might randomly mention special dates, inside jokes, or meaningful experiences you had together. If she starts saying things like, "Remember that time we," or "I miss how we used to," it's a clear indication that she's trying to remind you of the connection you once had. This is a psychological tactic designed to make you associate positive emotions with her again. She wants you to recall the good times, triggering feelings of attachment and making you question whether losing interest in her was the right decision. Don't forget to hit the subscription button as you like this video to increase our reach, if you are enjoying this piece of content. She may also use this approach to subtly test where you stand. If you engage in reminiscing with her, she might see it as a sign that there's still emotional investment on your end. If you remain indifferent or avoid the conversation, she'll realize that the past isn't enough to pull you back in. A strong man understands the power of nostalgia, but doesn't let it cloud his judgment. Instead of getting caught up in past emotions, he evaluates whether her actions in the present align with his standards. Does she truly value and respect him, or is she just trying to regain control? If you do respond, keep it light and detached. A simple acknowledgement of the memory without diving too deep shows that while you appreciate the past, you're focused on the present and future. This keeps you in control of the interaction and ensures that if she wants to rebuild something with you, it has to be based on more than just old feelings. 7. She becomes overly accommodating. When a woman senses she's losing your interest, she may suddenly become much more accommodating and agreeable. She starts going out of her way to please you, doing things she previously wouldn't, and making an extra effort to gain your approval. This change in behavior is her way of compensating for the loss of control she feels. If she was once more indifferent or demanding, she may now shift into a role where she's actively trying to prove her value to you. You might notice her being unusually supportive, offering to help with things she never cared about before, or even adjusting her personality to fit what she thinks you want. For example, if she knows you value ambition, she might start talking about her career goals. If you're into fitness, she might suddenly become interested in working out. While this may seem like a positive shift, you have to ask yourself, is this genuine growth, or is it just a reaction to your loss of interest? A high-value man doesn't immediately reward reactive behavior. Instead, he observes whether her effort is consistent over time or simply a temporary strategy to pull him back in. The key is to let her prove herself. If she's truly interested in rekindling the connection in a meaningful way, her actions will remain steady rather than fading once she feels she has your attention again. 8. She initiates more contact. If she was previously the one being distant or waiting for you to chase, a sudden increase in communication is a strong sign she's realized you've lost interest. She may start texting more often, sending memes, or finding excuses to reach out. You might notice her messaging you with questions that don't seem urgent, or even sending random check-ins just to keep the conversation going. She may also comment on your social media more frequently, trying to create interactions that reignite your engagement. This shift happens because she feels the absence of your attention. When you're no longer actively pursuing her, she senses the imbalance and tries to re-establish communication. However, your response is crucial here. If you immediately jump back in with enthusiasm, she might see it as a sign that her tactics worked, and she could revert to her previous behavior. Instead, maintain a sense of mystery. Respond on your terms, keep conversations brief, and don't overinvest unless you see genuine effort on her part. By doing this, you reinforce your value. You show her that your attention isn't given freely, it has to be earned. This makes you more desirable and forces her to step up if she truly wants to keep you in her life. 9. She tries to make you feel guilty. When a woman realizes she's losing your interest, she may resort to guilt tripping as a way to pull you back in. This is an emotional manipulation tactic designed to make you question your actions and feel responsible for the shift in dynamics. She might say things like, "You've changed. I feel like you don't care anymore," or "Did I do something wrong?" These statements are meant to place the burden on you, making you feel as if you're the one at fault for the fading connection. In some cases, she may bring up everything she's done for you in the past, reminding you of the ways she supported you, sacrificed for you, or invested in the relationship. The goal here is to make you feel obligated to reciprocate by re-engaging with her. However, a high-value man recognizes emotional manipulation when he sees it. Instead of reacting defensively or apologizing for his natural shift in interest, he remains calm and unshaken. He understands that relationships should be based on mutual attraction and respect, not guilt-induced obligation. The best way to handle this is by maintaining your emotional boundaries. If she's genuinely interested in fixing things, she'll have to show it through her actions, not just words meant to guilt-trip you. 10. She suddenly respects your boundaries. One of the most telling signs that a woman realizes you've lost interest is when she begins respecting your boundaries more than she ever did before. If she previously dismissed your needs, pushed your limits, or took your time and attention for granted, she may now shift to being more mindful of how she interacts with you. You'll notice her becoming more considerate, responding when you prefer, giving you space without complaints, and being more careful about how she speaks to you. This is because she now understands that her past behavior may have contributed to your loss of interest, and she's adjusting in an attempt to win you back. However, the key question is this change genuine or just temporary? A high-value man doesn't immediately reward changed behavior without seeing long-term consistency. He remains patient and observes whether she truly respects him, or if she's just playing a short-term game to regain control. The true test of her character comes when she realizes you're not easily swayed. If she maintains her respect for your boundaries over time, it indicates a sincere shift. If she reverts to old patterns once she feels she has your attention again, then you know it was just a tactic. If this piece of content resonates with you, please do well to like this video, subscribe, turn on the notification button, and also share this video with your friends. And do not forget to share your experiences with us in the comment section below. In conclusion, when a woman realizes you've lost interest, she will react in ways that range from subtle to dramatic. Some will try to rekindle attraction through nostalgia, jealousy, or increased attention. Others may resort to emotional tactics like guilt-tripping or sudden accommodation. As a high-value man, your response is everything. The key is to remain composed, observe her actions, and ensure that any re-engagement is based on genuine change, not manipulation. Attraction is a two-way street, and the most important thing is to stay true to your own standards. If she values you, she'll step up. If not, you'll walk away with your confidence intact, knowing that your time and energy are reserved for someone who truly deserves them. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.